What's up, guys? It's Ray D here, the body guy for Suppz.com, the host of a professional wrestling podcast every Tuesday on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and obviously our official website, pencilpodcast.com. Here this week to talk about another Gold Star product. It's called Viper. It's a killer thermogenic. At least that's what the advertisement says on the label. Thermogenics are kind of a big thing. I think a lot of people take them around the summertime. Obviously, if you're going to walk around with your shirt off and you want to look good on the beach, etc., you want that extra kick to burn fat. Thermogenic's a way to go to do it. Now, Gold Star, if you've watched any of my previous videos, I've never heard of this brand before until I tried their pre-workout and now Viper as well. It's a good brand. I think what they do, obviously, is they try to put their money into the product as well for you to make it a good product. So you might not hear of it. So I think things like this video review is going to help quite a few people. Thermogenics, it really depends. There's always a debate, like, are they worth it? Should you take them? It's totally a personal preference. I've taken different ones in the past, all the way back to the original Oxy Elite from USP Labs, which I thought was the best thermogenic on the market, and for rightfully so because of what was in it. But I think this is very similar. Now, there's knockoffs to Oxy Elite out there. I think this is a very close mimic of Oxy Elite, the original. The thing about it is it doesn't have DMAA, it doesn't have amp citrate, but it does have the 2-aminoisoheptane, which is basically the new age DMAA and the new age amp citrate. I mean, it has caffeine in it, your typical thermogenics, but it says just take one capsule a day. Me, with being a little bit more immune to stimulants when it comes to workout stuff, I take one in the morning and one around 2, 3 in the afternoon. I do couple this with my pre-workout, which is from Gold Star as well. So I kind of get a double kick of the thermogenic. But if you're looking just to burn fat, you're going to feel a little bit increased body temperature, obviously, as you do with a lot of thermogenics. But I think that's a good thing, right? So you take a thermogenic, if you don't get that increase in body temperature, then it's potentially not working the way you want it to work. So you're going to get that depending on what you do in the morning. Obviously, you're going to sweat a little bit more in the gym. You might sweat a little bit more at your office desk or whatever you do for a job, but that's a good thing. So keep that in mind. Recommended dosage once a day, probably for most people, is good. It is a nice bottle. You get 90 capsules, so if they're saying take one a day, it's going to last you 3 months. You take 2 a day, obviously it's 45 days. One thing with Gold Star, what they don't want you to do is they don't want you to take one cycle of this and then follow up with another one. Another way, you want to kind of spread them out. So just keep that in mind. But for thermogenics on the market right now, a lot of them are very similar. A lot of them just pump it full of caffeine. This one obviously has your caffeine in it, which is good, but it does have the new DMAA and the new amp citrate in the terms of 1 or 2-aminoisoheptane. So check it out, Suppz.com. Use promo code PENCIL5, receive 5% off your entire order. Free shipping, we're $49. And make sure you check us out every Tuesday on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, pencilpodcast.com, or at pencilpodcast on Twitter. You want to follow me, my workouts, and my reviews of Suppz.com. Follow me on Twitter at RealRennyD. I'll keep bringing what I can each and every week for you guys out there. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them to me on Twitter. I'm definitely willing to answer anything. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a certified personal trainer. I'm just a man who likes to get at it in the gym, get big, get hard, stay cool.